Everybody knows in the summertime it's really hot, and when you go outside and you just eating something really heavy and you're really full and you get to sweating and working real hard, you start getting sick to your stomach because, well, you got a lot on there. A nice snack that my mom taught me to make for summertime, for lunch, snack, anytime, is really light. It's really good and it's really delicious. It's called the summer salad. All you need to make it are onions, cucumber, and tomatoes. You'll also need a bowl, a knife, and I forgot, but you'll also need Italian dressing. You can use probably any dressing you want, but it tastes the best with Italian. The first step is normally to wash your hands, wash your countertops, your cutting board, and your bowl if you're going to use it, and all your vegetables, because all the vegetables have pesticides on them, and that doesn't taste very well. The next step would be to peel the cucumber. You peel the cucumber because the skin on it makes it tougher to eat, and then skin also doesn't really taste very well at all. So to save time on the video, I already went ahead and I peeled the cucumber. Normally you get a peeler and you can just take the skin off, or you get a knife and you just go right underneath the skin and just cut it off and throw it away. The second part to the cucumber is the ends. They have to come off because they do not taste good at all and they're not needed. So you take your knife and you cut those off. And then you just take them and you throw them away, or you set them to the side. Then this is ready to be chopped up. To chop this up, what you do is you take your knife again, you cut it in half, and then you take the halves and you bottom side down, and then you cut them in half again. If you want to, you can cut them again, but it's not recommended because then they kind of get too small or they get too thin. And then once you have them cut into the 4/4, you take the knife, you line up side by side, always face down, and you take the knife and you kind of level them out, and then you just kind of cut them into itty bitty chunks. And you make them as thick or as thin as you want to. I like mine right about in the middle, and it's, you know, however you like yours. And then you just pick up the pieces and you put them here in your bowl. Keep a rag on hand because the cucumbers have seeds in them, and once you cut them and have them face down, they get everywhere, so you might want to go ahead and wipe that off. Next step is the tomatoes. The tomatoes are pretty easy. Forgot, you gotta wipe the knife off as well because it got seeds on it. Okay, but the tomato is the next step. Pretty easy to do these because they're already washed, and the brown thing right here, you don't have to worry about that because all you do is you turn it on its side, you take your knife, and you cut off the top. No more brown thing. And if you want to, this one really doesn't interfere, but the bottom part has a small little dimple in it where there's brown stuff, and you take it again, take your knife again, and you just cut that off as well. Now, for ratio and recipe sake, I normally use 2 tomatoes to 1 cucumber because cucumbers are a lot longer and they're a lot thicker than some tomatoes are. Now, if you get your cucumbers out of the garden, they're normally going to be, you know, right at size, or like right about this long or smaller, so you might have to use multiples to get the desired amount. But if you store by your fruit, which is your tomatoes and your cucumbers, which I did because I didn't make a garden this year like I normally do. So if you get store-bought tomatoes are good size and cucumbers are really good size. Do the same thing to your other tomato, and you just cut off the bottom and you cut off the knife. And you set those to the side as well. Okay, next step for the tomatoes. We'll do this one at a time. You take your knife and you cut it in half, and then you put them face down like you did the other one, and you cut them in half again. But these, you will cut the halves in half. You'll cut these into eighths because nobody likes chunky tomatoes. Or, well, people do like chunky tomatoes. It's kind of up to you. And then you just kind of cut those like you did the cucumbers. See, that's 1 tomato. Okay, so 1 tomato. If you want, sometimes this little piece right here, the core will come out. You don't want to put that in there, so you just kind of chunk it too, because sometimes it doesn't always get cut up. And then we do the same thing to the second tomato. Sorry, juice kind of went everywhere. And cut it into eighths again, which most of the time you will, unless you have garden tomatoes and they're kind of small, or you know, if you have a garden, you get bigger tomatoes. I mean, you can get bigger or medium size, and you can make any kind of ratio you want to, depending on what you like more. Just pick those up and plop those in. Now again, tomatoes are messy. This is where the rag comes in hand. You just kind of wipe off your knife and wipe off the countertop. Next up is the onion. This is purely optional, and you can put any other kind of vegetables you want to in. I don't really like onions that much, so I only do about 1 layer. Of course, this is a Vidalia onion, so they're a lot bigger. And with these, I don't really cut them. I just kind of tear them into chunks because onions break apart so easily. And bigger chunks are kind of easier to eat around. Just kind of break it into pieces. Okay, now we have the onions, the cucumbers, and the tomatoes all in here. The last step is you get your Italian dressing, and you just unscrew the top of it, and you pour it on top. You know, I like mine coated, so I'm going to put the whole thing in there, which there's about 3/4 of it in there anyway. And then you take a wooden spoon, and you just kind of mix it up, and voila, you're ready to eat. And that's how you make summer salad. It's a nice, quick, easy, delicious snack that will not be heavy on your stomach. It's great for summertime, dinner time, a snack. You can even make it in the winter. It's good, it's fast, it's easy, and it's well worth it. Thank you. Bye.